Love, a love for a love. So the question today is, are you creating responsibly? Are you creating consciously with pure crystallized intention? This is going to be an extension of one of the last videos I did because I didn't get to touch upon too many points. But I'm going to touch upon a few more points. Are you responsible for creating your own universe? Because that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're literally supposed to be creating our own cosmos, to be more technical, or functioning from the cosmic state and creating our own universal reality. That is literally our task as beings. It's very important. It's very relevant. This is literally taking place right now. And when that takes place, present dimensions, or the present dimension, or a present dimension begins to collapse rapidly. I guess this is what a lot of us that share a certain stream of consciousness are beginning to witness as well as experience. But this is not the end of hope. The end of a world. World just means body. So when something says the end of a world, it just means the end of a body. World, the word world is synonymous with the word body. So end of a world means end of a new body, or end of an old body and beginning of a new body. This is what the word world means. Old body, new body. Old Testament, New Testament. So we're entering a New Testament. Nice to see you here, 9634. Nice to see you, Lieutenant. Peace, family. All right, what's going on? Zori, nice to see you here as well. Peace to you as well, fam. So this is just a little extension of the last one. I didn't really get to touch upon too many points. But I'm going to touch upon a few for the evening, upon basically entitled, are you responsible for creating your own universe? I mean, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be literally creating our universe from the foundation of a cosmic mind. This is why, once again, like I said, you see this dimension is chipping. This dimension is chipping. The old body is dying and the new body is appearing. This is when you see a lot of things try to get your attention. You know, look at me, look at what I'm doing. You know, look at how I'm living, look at how I'm walking, look at how I'm talking. Everything's trying to get your attention because it needs your life. Attention is life. And if something is calling for your life or requesting or needing, wanting your life, it means that it itself is losing its life. Like I said before, anything that's of nature doesn't call or scream for you to pay attention to its life because it is naturally life itself. So this dimension is collapsing on itself rapidly. And it's been doing this. This is not something new, like it's a new day. It's been doing this, we can say, recordingly for about maybe, I would estimate, for about the last 40, 50 years. But there's certain times within the pace that it becomes more recognizable, more neon than other times. There's certain heights, heights and drops, heights and drops, heights and drops of something that becomes extremely obvious. And other times where it's kind of hidden, but nevertheless, it's still happening. So, are we supposed to be paying attention to these things? No. Which is why it's fiending for your attention. This is why I say be very aware of where you put your attention to, because that's like watering a plant, putting sunlight on something. That's what your attention is. Your attention is literally visual water and visual sunlight on something that is needing your nutrients in order for it to maintain its supposed position in your life. And we have to be very aware of these things, you know. So like I said, I'm going to go into basically, well, first, before I go into this, we have to understand where we truly reside. We don't reside here. We're being projected here. So, Amayas, where do we truly reside at? You truly reside within a space of existence called the cosmos, or the cosmic existence. We have to understand the kind of matryoshka kind of understanding. The matryoshka is the matryoshka doll, the Russian doll, where one is inside of another thing, inside of another thing, inside of another thing, inside of another thing. It's like a little Russian doll. You open it up to something inside there, you open that up to something inside there, you open that up to something inside there, and so on and so on and so forth. But where are we being projected from? We're being projected from a cosmic intelligence. This so-called Earth or world or plane of existence, this planetary body, is within something called a solar system. A solar system is a group of planets for the purpose of one planet holding a certain kind of existence, which is this existence. A solar system is governed within something called a galaxy. A galaxy is plenty of planetary bodies with a sun in the middle, keeping it going in its own way in different ways in different positions. That's a galaxy. A galaxy is within something called a universe. A universe are groups of galaxies everywhere. And a universe is governed within what we know as a cosmos or cosmos. We exist in that cosmic state. And I'm pointing that way, but I'm not really meaning out there. I'm meaning in here, within the central nervous system, within things called the ganglia, or black holes called ganglia, or glial cells inside of the central nervous system. That is the true cosmic origin and the true cosmic atmosphere. That's where we truly reside. So we're not shining from out there onto the screen. We're shining from in here and projecting here as a person, as a persona, as something with a mask and a costume, a head and a body. But we're not here. Like I always said, your head is in a different dimension than your body. Your head is actually within a realm and a plane of existence. Your body is on a planetary surface. Your body's in third dimension. Your head is in a realm or a plane of existence, which is why you can't see your head, which is why you can't see your face. So now that we know that the head is not really attached to the body, that the body is a slave and employee for the head, we can begin to move further in the understanding of transparency and translucent, that which is separated and that which is attached to what, and where it truly resides, regardless of where you think it resides, or where you think that you reside. So the first question is, Amayas, am I truly responsible for myself and my reality? Do I literally create my universe? Am I literally creating my reality, my universe? Am I doing this, or is something doing this for me? You got to ask yourself, what about if I'm fully responsible for creating my own universe, my own cosmos, my own galaxy, my own solar system? Am I really responsible for this shit? Am I really responsible for this? Or is something doing this for me? Can I just chill, relax, kick back? Or do I have to actually put in this mind work and this energy work? Am I the one conducting this? Am I the true maestro behind or on the stage, giving the show, creating the show? Or am I somewhere in the audience sitting down watching the show? You have to understand this difference. You have to first know and understand the divine order of existence. Divine order of existence. I'm reading pages from my book. Meaning, what comes from a planetary body or plane? Or what comes from what? You're trying to figure out what comes from what. We're dealing with something earthbound, solar system, galaxy, universe, and cosmos. You see that something fits inside of the other. A planetary body fits inside of a solar system fits inside of a galaxy fits inside of a universe, and a universe is governed within a cosmos. We are in the cosmos. We're not here with a planetary body on a planet. We're not here, literally. We're being projected. We're projecting ourselves to have a planetary experience. But we're not really a planetary being. So, a planetary body or plane is governed within the solar system. As I said before, I gave you the whole rundown of the whole divine order. It's very important to know this divine order, because then you get to know where the hell you're at. You're not here. But why are you here? That's the question. Why are we here having this physical experience? What the hell is a physical experience? What's the purpose? These are things that you have to begin to ponder and begin to investigate and examine within self, of self, about self. These are very important things to understand. And where we truly are is within the cosmos or cosmic realm, and our being is being projected through all these planes, or all these levels, or all these degrees being the cosmic atmosphere, universal atmosphere, galactical atmosphere, solar system atmosphere, or the solar systematic atmosphere, and then the planetary atmosphere. We're being projected through all these degrees. We're from the cosmos, but we're here. The body is here in the third dimension, but our mind and our head is in the cosmic atmosphere. So the body from the neck down, or from the chest down, or from the clavicle down, is in the third dimensional planetary sphere. Our head, our mind, is in the cosmic atmosphere. The body is a worker for the head. Just like when you grab a cup, the hand works for the mouth. It's bringing it to the mouth to drink. The spoon, it brings the spoon to the mouth to eat. The feet walk and carry the head, or the perception or the view around to whatever atmosphere it's in. The body works for the head. The third dimension works for the sixth realm, or the seventh or eighth realm of existence. So a dimension is a worker for a realm. The dimension is third dimension on the planetary surface. The mind is a realm in the cosmic atmosphere, or in a cosmic existence. And where we are, and our being is being projected through all these planes, or all these degrees, to appear at the end result and surface itself on the physical plane. And the physical plane. Knowing that truth, your attention should automatically shift its direction and intention to that very beginning of self. This is the whole point. To understand this specific point, your direction and intention automatically begins to shift and direct itself to that origin, rather than this present moment, or this physical moment. The present moment is most important, but the physical moment is least important. The physical body, the physical existence is whatever. It ain't shit. It's here to just do shit, but you are a being. You're not a doing. The doing works for the being. That's the point. The doing works for the being. The being is the head and the mind. The doing is the physical body that is a worker for the mind. The planetary surface works for the universal or the cosmic origin or the cosmic atmosphere, the cosmic um, beginnings. So this is how we go about this kind of understanding. We don't take this very lightly, and this holds a great deal of importance. Great deal of importance. So, become the universe that you are creating. Your task here is to literally create a universe. Literally. Like you're literally supposed to be creating a universe. And within that universe, you have galactical systems. Within those galactical systems, you have solar system bodies. Solar system bodies has planetary bodies within it, and on these planetary body is your physical body, or whatever physical bodies or beings that you want to create within your reality, your perception, your knowledge, your gnosis. So, in other words, you got to understand this. If your attention, the way you should be thinking, if you're thinking of politics, news, entertainment, this thinking is thinking way too damn small. If you're focused on attention, entertainment, politics, government issues, this is thinking way too small according to the purpose that you're really supposed to be here and what you're really supposed to be doing. You're literally really supposed to be creating a universe of reality for yourself. You're not really here. So that's thinking way too small. Knowing the cosmic God that you are is thinking way too small. You're thinking on an eye-to-eye level rather than a bird's eye view or God's eye view of existence. You're thinking on your feet rather than with your head. This is very important when it comes to this kind of understanding. This is thinking way too small. It's literally a pure waste of directed divine energy. That's all nano distractions that take place on one damn planetary body. If you are supposed to be creating planets, solar systems, galaxies, cosmos, and universes, then that specific way of thinking and attention injection is extremely minuscule and worthless. Extremely minuscule and worthless. Government shit, politics shit, human crap, news, entertainment. If your attention is like really truly injected and anchored in that nonsense, is extremely minuscule and extremely irrelevant. It's a waste of energy and a waste of your attention. That's what you call surface eye level illusions. You are supposed to be viewing your existence from a falcon eye point of view, a God's eye point of view. In other words, thinking like that with eye-to-eye, entertainment, Hollywood, politics, whatever it may be, that's equivalent to thinking like an ant rather than a supreme cosmic mind. That's equivalent to a black hole in the universe worrying about the safety of a termite on Earth. That's what that kind of thinking is equivalent to when you think in that manner of eye-to-eye level. That's not what this is about. That's not what you are supposed to be doing according to this path, according to this gnosis, according to this understanding. That's not what this is supposed to be about. You're supposed to be creating a universal reality as a cosmic being. The cosmos is beingness or nothingness. The universe is beingness. A galaxy is vibration. A solar system is manifestation. And being earthbound is gestation, which is why we go through the gestation process, the trimester process. We go through the birthing process here on this planetary body, but the question is, what are you giving birth to? Mentally, not physically. Because like we know the word conception means idea, it means mind. To conceive is not sex in the physical sense, it's sex in the alchemical sense, sex in the chemical sense, estrogen and testosterone, sex in the alchemical sense, secretion, liquid, fluid, plasma from one gland into the organs, or from glands to the organs, the secretion of fluids and liquids, as well as mental conception. What are you willing to pierce in order to go deeper into self? The more deeper you go, the more you reach that cosmic point or that cosmic origin of being. This is why beingness is so important. Why people say the moment, be of now, be of the presence, be of beingness, because you're trying to make contact with that cosmic point within self, that cosmic origin. You're trying to make contact with that divine cosmic contract that you already had in place. Nice to see you here, Jules Quinn. Appreciate you attending 746. Hello you as well. So you have to literally become the universe which you are creating. My day is well. My day is well as usual. Hope your day is well as usual as well. Just another day, kicking the sciences, applying the work, the inner work, most importantly. That's why this outer shit is really disappearing, because the inner work is becoming so intense and we're reaching such a depth within self that this outer shit is beginning to just unlayer itself. It's just unraveling. It's just falling. And it's screaming for our attention. It's screaming for our energy. And we're not giving it our energy. So the more quieter you get on the inside, the more louder things seem on the outside, if you can understand that principle of polarity. So the universe that you are creating is the universe that you have to begin becoming. Turning yourself into a universal atmosphere and universal mindset of reality is becoming a certain intelligence of what we know as space. Being the intelligence of space is being in a state of float and a state of drift, meaning gravity is absent or non-active at that moment, at that space. And when gravity is non-active or absent, your energy flows more freely, but it flows more freely inward. Being in this rare state and in this rare space of perception, what we know as gravity becomes weak or absent. And when this happens, time as we know it goes by quicker. Meaning you remain in the moment and your manifestation can appear quicker. This experiment was done before with on a plane and on the ground. If you do this experiment, you have a clock or you have two clocks. You put a clock in your basement and put a clock on your roof. The clock in the basement, if you set two clocks at the same time, you set them at 2 p.m. and you put one on the roof and one in your basement, as an hour or two passes and you go back to look at the clock in your basement will be going quicker than the clock on the roof. Why is this? Because the clock in the basement is closer to the ground. Appreciate you as well. The clock is closer to the basement, is closer to the ground, which means that gravity is weaker or absent. It's not as present. It's not as present. It's not pulling it down because it's neutral with the ground. The clock on the ground or the basement is neutral with the soil. It's closer to the ground, so gravity is not as stronger. The clock on the roof or on top of your house is more stronger and more intense. So therefore, time goes by slower. So actually, I'm saying that to say this. This is why it feels like sometimes forever. If you don't go to sleep on the plane, it'll feel like forever to get to your destination. It'll take like a while. That's why people watch a movie on the plane, or they listen to music, or they converse with their significant other who they're with, or they just fall asleep to make time go by quicker. Because if you're awake on the plane, time goes by a lot slower. Literally, not figuratively, not metaphorically, but literally. Because gravity is more stronger, being that you're further away from the ground. You're further away from the ground, gravity or pressure is more intense, and that makes time go by slower. When pressure is intense, it keeps the molecules and atoms and subatomic structures more in place, subjecting that entity or that person to the subjects of time. When you are one with gravity, or neutral or mutual with the intelligence of gravity, time goes by a lot quicker because there's less pressure and less gravitational pull holding a body together. So time is really absent, becomes more absent. Now, this is an experiment you can experiment with if you want to and see it for yourself. Being Becoming the universe that you are creating. A universe is space, right? Black space, black energy, um, nothingness. When you're in the space of nothingness, or in the intelligence of space itself, this rare moment, this rare intelligence, you are not bound to gravity to that degree. When you are not bound to gravity, your time goes by quicker, which means a day can feel like an hour. A week can feel like a day, you know what I'm saying? And a month can seem like a week when you're in the moment. This means that you're in a very unique moment. This means that you are literally becoming the universe that you are creating. Being that the universe is governed within space, and within space, time really doesn't exist. So when time really doesn't exist, and that means that you're in a universal space of existence, which means that you're very close to your cosmic origin, or your cosmic space of being, your cosmic space of nothingness. This is how you begin to tell what degree and what level that you're on when you have a certain intention to reach a certain spiritual goal, if you want to say, and what kind of progress that you are actually making besides what kind of progress you think you're making. You can literally determine this by doing a little examination and investigation of your mind, your energy, and the space, and the moments and situations and circumstances that happen in your moment-to-moment, day-to-day life. This is how you can actually begin to tell on your own. You don't need somebody to tell you. You can tell just by how time goes by, the speed of time. Is it going by slower? Is it going by quicker? And I once again, the experiment, put a clock on your roof, put a clock in the basement. And you'll see that the clock in the basement will be like at 2:30 after a few minutes, and the clock on the roof will be at 2:15 or 2:10. And you put these clocks on the same time at the same time. But for some reason, one clock is going by quicker than the other. This is a scientific fact, a scientific experiment. So when gravity is less influenced on you, time zooms by when gravity is less influential on you and less pressure is on you, or condensed pressure. Less condensed pressure, less gravitational pull, time zooms. This is how you can tell what kind of spiritual space you are in, and if you're further from the cosmos, if you're in the planetary experience, or if you're in cosmic existence. Like I said before, you have the cosmos going from your primal origin, your beginning, to your what you are here at the moment. The physical body is cosmos, universe, galaxies, solar system, planetary body. This is how you tell which vibration, which level, and which degree that you are in the moment that you are examining. You are examining the energies of self. Okay. Is my mind literally creating universes? Absolutely. Your mind is literally creating universes in this moment. And within these universes that your mind is creating are galaxies that are positioning themselves in these universes that your mind is creating. And in these galaxies, you have solar systems, which are little sun bodies, or things that circle and cycle a solar being, which is a sun that creates a solar system. a group of planetary bodies circling a solar being, which is what we call our sun. So you're creating life inside of life, inside of life, inside of life, inside of life. But what kind of life are you creating is the question. um, absolutely. Um, absolutely. You know, you can do a lot of different, it depends upon what in this reality is communicating to. I do a lot of tree work, uh, nature work. I mean, it depends. It depends how your spirit is communicating to you and what it's advising you and guiding you to do, because it's trying to pull you back to your origin. Believe it or not, even though this is the illusional state, there's clues and pockets and hints within this illusional template that is constantly pointing you back and navigating you back to your primal point and origin of being, which is your cosmic state of nothingness. True nothingness. Like I said before in the beginning of video, we are truly a cosmic being projected through the universe, being projected through a galaxy, being projected through a solar system, and onto a planetary field, which is what we call Earth, which is nothing but the oath. The word earth and oath are synonymous to each other. This is not an earth, this is an oath that you took. So this oath is always pointing you back to your primal point of origin. There's different levels of communication, different levels of connection, depending upon what degree and level your spiritual integrity is at, what your knowledge is, how deep your gnosis goes. There's different determinations. You know, nothing is cut dry, nothing is one way, because even one ray of light, one sun ray has 7 different spectrums, which is what you call your chakras, your kundalini activation, and so on and so forth, your Shakti and Shiva meeting or union. Within this one sun ray, you have 7 color spectrums. So there's never one way to do something, but I do many different works internally, moment to moment, day to day, all the time. So is your mind literally creating universes? Yes, absolutely. First of all, what you have to first understand is that your mind is the universe itself. So you can say mind, you can also say universe. You know what I'm saying? You can also say universe. So another word for mind is universe. The more, keep this in mind though, the more the mind is at peace, the more your mind is at peace, meaning being at a respective distance between your humanity and your spirituality, creating a respective distance and being within that respective distance between your humanity and your spirituality. This is what a peace of mind means. Creating and having and being that respective space between your human nature and your spiritual nature. When the mind is at a peace, the more the energy of the body relaxes and is in a primordial grace. So the more the mind is at peace, the more the energy of the body relaxes. And when this relaxes, it is in a primordial grace, or within its own primordial grace. Whether you know it or not, your mind is literally creating existential populations or populace. Yes, your mind is creating populations. Like I said before, the very design, the very patent design of a human body is the shape and design of a neuron in your brain. So instead of saying that we're walking human bodies, we're literally walking neurons with t-shirt, pants, and sneakers or footwear. And I said, you look at your hand upside down, it's literally another human body. This can be the head, this can be the 2 arms, and this can be the legs. When you look at your hand upside down, it's literally a human body. Your human body is a hand upside down. And it's also a neurocyte and a melanocyte. This is why they say we are in the mind of something greater that we cannot fathom. We're literally walking neurons. We're literally walking melanocytes. We're literally walking dendrites and axons. If you look that up, dendrites and axons, you're going to see it's almost literally the same shape, extremely similar to the human body. So being that we're walking neurons, we're literally the concept or the idea or entities within something else's mind. This is why you are literally creating a population on a planetary understanding within the universe that you are creating. But what kind of population or populace is your perception creating? This is very important to understand. So, your mind is literally creating populations or populace. These specific populations being cosmic populace, universal populace, galactic populace, solar populace, and lastly, earthly populace or populations. And the deeper that you relax in grace, the more of a beginning position of existence you're given access to. For example, the more worrisome, bothered, and stressed your energy is, the more anchored and earthbound you are. The more relaxed, content, and graceful you are, the more drift-like and cosmic your energy becomes. So, meaning that since the cosmic state is a state of nothingness, which is where you truly reside, which is where I truly reside, which is where we all truly reside in this cosmic degree or this cosmic level of existence, which is the thing which envelopes the universe. The universe envelopes a galaxy or galaxies. Galaxies envelopes a solar system, and a solar system envelopes a earthbound existence, a earthbound experience. So one thing envelopes the other until it gets to the mini core, which is where we are right now in this moment. Our main purpose is to go from this nucleus, from the subatomic intelligence, and begin creating atomic shells or molecules and compounds to begin reaching our cosmic inner core beginning. The more relaxed the more your mind is at peace, the more relaxed your body is. The more relaxed your body is, the more quicker you're given access to your cosmic origin and point of being, if you want to kind of understand, if that makes sense to you. Like I always say, I can always get more and more in depth on certain things when I have consultations or during classes. I get a lot more in depth because there's questions being asked while I'm hearing voices and I'm interacting with people's faces. It makes a big difference than me just talking to a damn screen on YouTube. Trust me, it makes a hell of a difference. Because what I do is I read certain pages from books that I'm writing, and I'm going according to how I write. I speak based upon how I write. Okay, so next is the importance and relevance of elements. The importance and relevance of what we know as elements. This reality is literally governed within 5 main elements. You know those elements: fire, air, earth, and water, but most importantly, time. Time is an element. Yes, time is an element. It's tangible. It's not something that's invisible. It's something that's actually visible or disguises itself as visible things, visible situations, things that unfold in the physical realm or the physical dimension. But it is a tangible thing, which is why I just told you about. If you have a clock on you, get 2 clocks, do this experiment yourself. This is a scientific fact, a metaphysical fact as well. Get 2 clocks, put both clocks at the same time, put them at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5:30, 6:15, whatever. Just put both of these clocks at the same time. Put 1 clock on your roof, 1 clock in your basement. You'll see the clock in the basement go by a lot quicker than the clock on the roof. And you'll see for yourself the importance of the invisible, or spiritual nature, resistance to gravity, being with gravity, gravity being of more of an intense pull, gravity being more of a less pull. Being of a less pull is a spiritual nature, being more of a physical pull is being subject within the illusion of time. Like I said before, this is why the plane is literally, when you're flying a plane, time is literally going by slower. Whereas somebody's walking on the ground, somebody's closer to the ground, closer to gravity, time goes by a lot quicker because gravity is not in override mode. And it's not holding the elements and the molecules and the compounds together because there's no need to, because you are being one with gravity. This is why they say, plant your feet in the soil, you plant your feet in the dirt sometimes. That's to neutralize your spiritual potential, to access your spiritual potential, and to be close to your cosmic grace. So this reality is literally governed within 5 main elements: fire, air, earth, water, plus time, as well as 3 sub-elements, which are gas, liquid, and solid. Therefore, when you begin to consciously and intentionally orchestrate and rearrange these elemental bodies in the shape and mold of your desire and what you require, with your willpower, you begin to break down its present governed structure and begin to supersede its tangible purpose that was governing your mental, thus transpsyching into your own government that creates its own society and populace to exist and experience within. Meaning that once you understand the 5 elements that exist here and you're attentive to it, you're acknowledging its existence, the acknowledgement gives you access to begin to manipulate and orchestrate it in how you favor it to be, according to whatever existence and experience that you choose to experience or you choose to want to exist within. It's something you can literally grasp, because like I said before, your subconscious, everything is created of subatomic elements. Your subconscious mind is connected directly to the communication of those subatomic elements. So it directs, it commands, demands, and directs by manipulating, orchestrating, and rearranging these elements by the intelligence of the elemental. That's why it's called elementals. Elemental. This is why we all begin in elementary school, right? We begin in elementary school, then we go to kindergarten or pre-K or something like that, or elementary, pre-K, then kindergarten. Elementary this is why we begin in elementary school, because the very beginning of all creations, of all growth and development, is understanding the elements and the elemental workings. Your subconscious, fire is composed of subatomic elements. Water is composed of subatomic elements. Air is composed of subatomic elements. And definitely earth is composed of subatomic elements. And absolutely time is a subatomic elemental intelligence. Your subconscious mind is directly connected to the subatomic particles in all things. Your intention literally rewrites, rescrambles, recreates your reality once you acknowledge that working and have a knowledge of it to begin doing what you want it to do. This is what that kind of means when I broke that down just now. So, let me see. Now, this also is basically dealing with enlightenment, be of a certain point of enlightenment. Now, what is enlightenment really? The word enlightened are the 2 words enlightened. Enlightened is enlightened, which means to turn on some inner light or lights within, to turn on the lights within or to turn on the inner light within. These inner lights, in biological understanding, for you scientists out there, is the amino acid or the ions within the black holes called glial cells inside of your CNS, which is your central nervous system. This is where the cosmic, this is where your cosmic origin of being is at. Within all the black spots and black stains throughout your organs, as well as your brain, as well as your heart, your kidneys, every organ has cosmic stains. And this is like a cosmic phone that you always have access to call and leave a message and receive the message. It's going to always answer your call when you make that call and you leave that message. Enlightenment is the massage around the heart, because when you're enlightened, you breathe differently. As I said before, you can not only think yourself or intentionalize something to materialize. You can and you can it's not you can not only can you intentionalize and internalize a dimension to materialize, but you can also breathe a dimension into existence. So this message that's being received is the massage or the massaging of the heart between the lungs, because when you begin to think different, you perceive different, you begin to breathe different. Like I said, the more the mind is at peace, the more the body's relaxed. The more the body's relaxed, the more you have more access to your primal cosmic point of origin, your being state, the state of nothingness that they call nirvana in Buddhism or Tibetan Buddhism. The nirvana, you know, the euphoric state of being. It is a cosmic origin. It is of a cosmic origin. And this cosmic origin is the black stains and black spots, or black cells or glial cells inside of the central nervous system, as well as your peripheral nervous system. This is why spiritual activity happens within your peripheral vision. Wow, you could be looking straight ahead, and all of a sudden you see something here, or you feel like something passed by, or something may be standing there, and you look to the side and nothing is there because it exists in your peripheral vision. It's happening in your peripheral nervous system. And that can go into other different ways of understanding. I can break that down a lot more deeper with question and answer, Q&A, most like I said, consultations on the website, asyouare.com, asyuar.com. You can email me as well if you're interested in consultations, classes that are coming up pretty soon for the summer. But that can get, I don't want to get too far off of the topic at the moment. So the word enlightened are the two words enlightened, to turn on the inner light or to turn on the lights within, with the light or lights being as well an understanding of the synapses or the synaptical connections. This light that we're turning on within are the synapses that bounce from one neuron to the next. Like I said before, you're literally creating universes. What universe or universes are you creating? These lights that you turn on when you become enlightened, these sparks that go off are neuronic sparks that go off within the brain. And these sparks remain present. They stay there like Christmas lights around your house, or Christmas lights that just blink on and off around your tree or around your home. They stay there and they stay in these positions. And these positions are actual, they become kind of neuronal brain constellational positions. So you're literally creating your own zodiac in your brain, because if you know anything about the zodiac system, it's nothing but stars, which are nothing but suns or solar systems that look like, connect the dots, it looks like a certain animal, or it looks like an object or something. So it's about connecting these dots, connecting these lights that create these zodiac systems, these solar systems, these galactical positions within the brain, because you are literally creating your universe. This is why I say it's so minuscule and so relevant to pay attention to this to the human shit, to politics, to news, to entertainment. It's extremely minuscule and extremely irrelevant for the cosmic God that you truly are. It's almost pathetic to really give your attention and your emotion so much into the illusional stage of entertainment. Life is entertainment. This is supposed to entertain you. It's not supposed to drain you. It's not supposed to drain you. It's supposed to entertain you. That's it. Not drain you. Okay, you're supposed to be preserving and reserving your energy for your being, for your purpose, your cosmic purpose, not your human purpose per se. Because you being a human, you're going to automatically leave some kind of influence and imprint and history or memory. That's why we have fingerprints, footprints. Our mental imprint, our purpose will leave its imprint in this dimension when this body goes, or when the spirit leaves this body, or decides to end the contract or meets its expiration date. No matter what you do, you were seen by somebody, you were heard by somebody, you came out of somebody's womb. You already leave a memory imprint in this dimension, whether you know it or not, whether nobody knows you. Somebody knows you because you came out of somebody's hole, somebody's womb. So you're going to automatically leave a memory imprint here in some way, whether you know it or not. You have no control of that. But what kind of imprint, what kind of memory are you leaving? What kind of history, you know, are you embedding here while you're here in the third dimensional vehicle, which is from the clavicle down, from the neck down, being guided by the head. So this enlightenment, or these lights within, are the synapses and synaptical connections of neurons within the brain hemispheres. These are the enlightenments, or the inner lights that you turn on, because these were once dark spots, or spots that didn't have a spark of light. But when that dark spot begins a spark of light, that means you are beginning your path of enlightenment. And that's why you begin creating these star spots, or these sparking spots, or these synaptical sparks within your brain. And they position themselves there and they stay there sparking. And another one sparks here, another one sparks here, another one sparks here. And if you were to trace that, you can see like a diamond kind of shape. So these things begin to shape themselves in your brain. And this is when you become extremely responsible for beginning to create your own universe, as well as your own population on your own inner earth, or your inner earths, or your interplanetary bodies. Just like there's a population on this quote unquote earth, or plane of existence, or planetary body, this cell body, because this is actually a cell, a plane of existence, or a cell of existence. Just as a population exists here, this is the population that you are creating mentally on a planetary body, within a solar system, which are the lights you're creating, within a galactical positioning, or galactical positions, which are groups of these synapses in your brain, within a universe, which is the cosmic or dark matter, enveloped within a cosmic understanding, which is the black space or dark energy of nothingness. All this shit is inside. There's nothing out there floating around. Nothing. Literally nothing. This is why attention outward is so unnecessary and so irrelevant, especially when you begin creating inner universes, inner solar systems, inner galaxies, inner universe, in order to make contact with your inner cosmic intelligence. We are supposed to be retreating back to our cosmic home, our cosmic address. This is just a GPS. Or you're supposed to begin finding your GPS back to your cosmic address. This is what I call seeing paradigms, things that are leading you into different realms of existence. Like I said, a dimension is composed of paradigms. A paradigm leads you into a realm, and a realm puts you on a plane of existence. Paradigms are like certain things, how people call things coincidence, or accident, or mistake, or luck. There's no such thing as accident, coincidence, mistake, or luck. These are paradigms, or certain things, or a certain kind of pattern that seems random, but it's not really random. It's disguising itself as a random phenomenon, but it's actually a cosmic phenomenon. It's actually a perfect pattern. Like I always give the example, you take a drive, you go outside to your car and you see somebody wearing a red hat. You drive to the store, while you're driving to the store, you see somebody wearing a red shirt. You go to the store, you're waiting online, you're behind somebody wearing red sneakers. These things are not by mistake, accident, or coincidence. These things look like random people, random places, random times, random moments, but it's actually a cosmic pattern leading you to understand something about the color or the vibration of red for some reason unbeknownst to you. But you have to begin to decode, figure, configure, reconfigure, and rearrange these codes, these clues, these hints to begin to see what is trying to reveal itself to you. This is why in the Biblios book, the last chapter is Revelations. The very first chapter is Genesis, which is Gnostic or Gnostis or Gnosis. Genesis is Gnosis. This is why behind what we call Christianity is Gnosticism. Gnosticism is the mystery system of what we know as Christianity. Just like the Kabbalah or Kabbalistic system is behind what we know as Muslim or Islam. The Kabbalistic is behind what we know as Hebrew or Judaism. Pardon me. And what we know is the mysterious system behind Judaism and Hebrew. The mystery system behind Islam or Islamic tradition is what is known as Sufism, from a people called the Tasawwuf. So there's always a mystery behind the history. Our point is to retreat the mystery, my story, your story, our story, the story. We are here to get the mystery behind the history. Exactly. Profile. Correct. Sufism. And that comes from Sufi, comes from Sawuf, which is Tasawwuf, or people call it Tasawwuf. And there's always a mystery behind the history. So the history, we could say, is this human damn body. But we have to begin to unravel the history in order to begin to figure out the mystery inside of this history, behind the curtain of this history. Because this body takes on a history. This is why, you can become hysterical. This body, this chemical can become subject to hysteria. This is a historical vehicle that takes on a history, has a history, and creates a history of itself. But there's a mystery operating the function of this history. And this is what we have to begin to get back to. We have to begin to see what is revealing itself to us. Like I said before, the Biblios, that last chapter is Revelation. The first chapter is Genesis. Genesis is the genes of Isis, or the genetics of Isis, which is the mitochondria, which is what is known as cosmic memory. There's a book by somebody called Rudolf Steiner. The book is called Cosmic Memory. We have to begin getting to the cosmic memory, the genesis, the genes of Isis, the genetics of the feminine energy, or the genetics of the divine feminine, the mitochondrial point of origin, which is also the midichlorian intelligence. The midichlorian intelligence is within the mitochondrial cell. A midichlorian is that which attaches life force to life form, or life force to life form. It's what keeps the attention, or keeps the connection. And that which keeps the connection is that which we should be directing our attention to. Our attention should be on that which is keeping the connection. So once again, the beginning of the Biblios is Genesis, meaning the beginning, the Alpha. And the last chapter is Revelation. So you're entering your genetics to see that which is supposed to be revealed to you. Revelation just means, that which is being revealed. So beginnings and revealing. So in order to be revealed your purpose, you have to retreat the beginnings of self, which is the cosmic self. The cosmos envelopes a universe. A universe envelopes galaxies. Galaxies envelopes a solar system, which is a sun system, and a solar system, a sun system, governs a planetary body, which is where we're holding this conversation at right now in this moment. So everything goes from a shell all the way down to a nucleus. Now we are this nucleus beginning to create these shells. You get it? So we are the nucleus, the atomic nucleus, the subatomic intelligence, creating an orbit of a reality called a solar system, which I told you are the synapses in the brain, to begin creating your universe, begin creating your own zodiac constellational system. The zodiac comes from Zodiakias, which is Mother Zodiakias, from the melanated Greeks called the Etruscans, Minoans, Mycenaeans, Pelasgians, Grimaldi people. Did a book called The Black Civilizations of Europe and Rome. I think, I'm not too sure, but I think the author's name is Rufus Jiminson. Rufus Jiminson. Not to get you off the point, we're supposed to be accessing our zodiacal intelligence, our mother Zodiakias, which once again resorts back to the divine feminine portal, the divine feminine vortex. So being this thing in the middle, enveloped by many other things, as this middle point, the subatomic point, we have to begin creating an orbiting shell. An orbiting shell is dealing with the intelligence of the electrons orbiting the nucleus of an atomic, of a subatomic intelligence, which creates the atom, the nucleus of an atom. And we have to begin to create the shell. As we create the shell, we get back to the nucleus, which is the cosmos. So cosmos, universe, galaxies, solar systems, Earth. Earth, solar system, galaxies, universe, cosmos. This is the process inward, outward, inward, and the process inward, outward. But we're doing it mentally from inward, outward to reach that inward state, which is the cosmic state, the end result, the cosmos, which is where we truly reside. We reside within the triple black nothingness, the darkest space, which is called Vanta black. Check out that color. Type in Vanta black, which is the darkest or the blackest black there can be so far. I think it's called Vanta black. And you'll see the color black. It will be different than the black words on your screen or your laptop or your phone. Look at the color Vanta black. The only place in this reality where black exists is the pupils. Your hair is not black, it's dark brown. Black exists in the pupil. The only place where the color black exists is the pupils. Your pupils, your eyes, are constantly reminding you where you truly reside. You reside in the triple black nothingness, the darkness, the Vanta black, the mysterious Vanta black of existence, which is the cosmos. So since we are this nucleus, we are creating an atom. And when we create the atom, we're creating the molecule. This molecule creates molecules, which is what we know as solar systems within a galaxy. This molecule creates compounds, which is known as what we know as galaxies within a universe. We're doing this mentally. We're not really doing this chemically. It's more of a mental transition, more of a mental point of focus than it is a chemical point of focus. It's mental alchemy. As the mental alchemists that we come from. We come from telepathic and telekinetic people. We come from a telepathic genetic line. We come from a telekinetic genetic line. We come from a people of the mind. We don't come from a people of talking. We don't come from a people of scribbling and writing and carving and molding. We come from a people of mind, or from an intelligence of mind. And everything is mind. All this mind universe is mental. And like I said, if you think otherwise, then explain to me why your body is shaped exactly like a fucking neuron. We're literally walking neurons with footwear, pants, shirt, and a hat. We're not a human body. There's no such thing. There's no such design. There's no such pattern. There's no such shape. So the light I'm talking about is the synapses and the synaptical connections between the neurons. To be more specific, the light I'm talking about within these synapses is something that sparks off called the amino acid called leucine. Check out the amino acid called the leucine. A leucine is something that is a protein synthesizer. If you know anything about protein, protein is a building thing. Enzyme is something that cuts it to make a design, a certain kind of design structure and architecture of a mind perception, of a mind inception and perception. Proteins are building blocks, and enzyme is what cuts the building block when the block is built. And synthesizer, the amino acid leucine, is a protein synthesizer, which means it synthesizes something that keeps going inside and inside and inside and inside and inside till it reaches the middle point. So it's a compound going into the molecule, a molecule going into the atom going into the subatomic intelligence, and so on and so forth into, I guess you can say, nothing but electrons, quarks, and planks, or plankton, what they call the realm of singularity, or strings, or whatever you want to call that shit. So, like I said before, sacred geometry, these sacred geometries on my walls, all around my home that I adorn my walls and my home with, these are pausing states of synthesization in motion. Okay, this is what the amino acid leucine is doing within each synapse going off in your damn brain. So every time a synapse goes off, that means that you are being middled and centered into something deeper beyond this false dimension that we call the physical. Okay, this is a real heavy understanding. I'm just making it kind of light at the moment, in a way, I think. I know my words can be very, what the fuck is he saying? I'm getting kind of lost in what he's saying. But like I said, I read off of books that I write, pages that I write. If any of you are interested in any of the books, things that I say, that I write, that you see me looking down and looking back up, I'm looking at certain books and pages, paragraphs that I'm writing, and I talk from a page. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you're interested in any of that, get in touch with the email. These books will be out pretty soon. Yeah, pretty soon. And it has pictures and all that. You will get a lot more into it because I do pretty good in the book, thing with book conversations and whatever, so on and so forth, Barnes and Noble and so forth. This light I'm talking about is the amino acid leucine, which is a protein synthesizer. What it does is it synthesizes the old mind and the old focus into the new mind and the new focus, and begins a new mental structure and development strictly through one's present perception. This is what the amino acid leucine does, like Lucifer, the light bringer, the light bearer, leucine. There's an amino acid called leucine. These lights, i.e., star bodies within, are actually ions and amino acids. I go a lot deeper into this as well. And these ions and amino acids are light-coded messengers that receive messages and transmit messages. Gotta understand this. The reason why I go at such a depth or such an inner core of understanding of this particular gnosis and knowledge and wisdom and understanding, the more deeper you have an understanding of something, the more control you have of it, the more clarity you receive, the more you have access to your inherited grace, the more you are at peace, the more your attention is not on this physical shell and things that happen, or physical events that supposedly happen on the outside, and you begin to divert and redirect your attention inside, internal. You literally begin to internalize, flower, and blossom from the inside out. This shit on the outside no longer holds your attention, which is why I said before, while supposed things and events are happening in politics and also the crap, which I don't have my attention to. I just get sent things from certain some of my students and consultees, and uh, my cousin as well, to put me onto a knowledge of self, and certain others. Once in a while, they'll send me little shit here and there by email or text, and I click on the link and I'm looking at something. I don't do that all the time. I do it sometimes. But, I see little things here and there, and I'm like, okay, anyway, and I get back to my lesson. But for those of you who may be kind of entertained, or you believe in that shit that's really happening, which it isn't happening, but if you believe in any of that that's going on, this little show that you're being given, this little entertainment, knowing this internal work internalizes you, and you begin to give less and less and less and less and less of your attention, and emotion to the outer illusion. This is why, like I said, the more quieter you get on the inside, the more louder it seems to get on the outside. So when you see things seeming like it's getting louder and more active on the outside, this literally means you're becoming more quieter, more still, more silenced, and more peaceful on the inside. That's what it means. If that thing was truly of life and truly happening, it wouldn't be screaming and demanding your attention. Things that are of life doesn't scream at you. A rose doesn't scream at you. A tree doesn't say, look at me. A mountain doesn't say, hey, look over here. Things that have life and of nature that are real don't do that. Because it's life and it doesn't need your attention. It is the epitome of attention. It is the epitome of intention, of consciousness, conscious as itself. So, things that are on YouTube or the internet or Google, whatever's going on, it's not real. It's screaming for your attention because your attention is life. Your attention, like I said, is water and sunlight. So think of attention like that. Attention is me watering a plant. Attention is me giving sunlight to a plant. But if I take back my attention and preserve it for whatever I want to put my attention to, which is my intention, because attention or intention is attention inverted. And this is why what you put your intention into becomes made manifest. Because intention is inverted attention. It's attention being turned inward, which is where the true darkness is within. You're directing your attentive light inward into the darkness, into the glial cells, into the ganglia nerves, into the central nervous system, into the dark holes, the black holes, the cosmic holes within your central nervous system and your peripheral nervous system, as well as the dark spots within your brain. And that light is piercing that darkness, because darkness is where true life is created. So you're literally injecting into your cosmic intelligence. This is intention. But your intention is based upon the foundation of your knowledge of things. Your knowledge is based upon how deep and how centered you become. Not just emotionally or psychologically, but spiritually. How deep are you? How centered are you? How middle are you? How subatomic are you? Because this determines if and when you will reach your cosmic state of existence. The whole point is to be of your cosmic nature. If you ain't trying to reincarnate back here again. Remember when the elders said reincarnation is like reincarceration. So, you're supposed to be graduating. And like I said, to understand these elements is very important, extremely important, very relevant. if you are of this frequency, if you can vibrate with what I'm spewing out, if you're on this frequency, on this stream, on this vibration, and this shit makes sense to you, and you get what I'm saying, then this is for you, whether you know it or not, and you cannot fight it. You cannot win this fight. You can't win this inner war. It's not going to happen. Once you know, you can't unknow. Once you see, you can't unsee. If this makes sense to you, you have to begin doing this inner work even just that much more intense. But being that these so-called outer events are happening means that you're doing some real serious inner work anyway. That's what it means. You're doing real serious inner work, because there's a lot of so-called outer distractions and outer interruptions trying to distract your focus and your path inward, and it's not working. It will never work. It's not made to work that way. But it doesn't mean that some things won't try. So these lights, i.e. star bodies within, are actually ions and amino acids. Ions and amino acids are literally light-coded messengers that receive messages and transmit messages. The more synapses that light up and spark off in the brain, the deeper the realms you begin to access and enter. Thus, the more the present dimension continues to break down into transparency. For what reason? To make space for your new dimensional perception of reality. That's why. El Bay, what's going on, fam? All right? Nice to see you here, brother. As always, in all ways. The more macro situations seem, the more micro and nano you need to be as well as become. So the more things seem like it's on a grand scale, there's physical shit happening, physical events going on, that should be an automatic indication that you should become more micro and more nano. And being that the fact that you are becoming more micro and nano is the very fact why macro situations and macro worldly events, so-called, are seeming to happen. Because you are taking back your attention and you're converting your attention to cosmic intention. You're taking away your human attention and converting it into cosmic intention. So, the more macro situations seem, the more micro and nano you need to be and you need to become. One polarity references the other within an illusional dimension. This is what you call spiritual language. When something on a supposed large scale begins to destroy itself, that truth in itself means that there's great nano success happening. When things seem earthly, it's time to become cosmic. One polarity references the other. Keep that in mind. This means that our shared interest in a collective agreed dimension, which is what we call physical life, begins shattering and collapsing on itself and within itself. When this happens, separate dimensions are beginning to create on the template of this existence, from one experience to the next experience. So there's little pockets and bubbles of experiences creating itself, because this dimension is literally falling on its head and collapsing inward and collapsing on itself, within itself, as itself. Okay? Like I said, this ain't just all of a sudden happening. It's like one snowdrop after another. Snowflake, one snowflake, second snowflake, third snowflake, fourth snowflake, fifth snowflake. After a while, snow will begin to accumulate. Roads will begin to become packed with snow. driveways, walkways, sidewalks. After a while, it accumulates. So a snowball becomes an avalanche after a while. And the snowflake began dropping about maybe 50 years ago. If I put a chronological time on it, or a timeline or a date on it, a certain time reference, I would say 50 to 60 years ago, the first snowflake began dropping. And it actually began dropping way before that, but that's a whole nother conversation. Thousands of years ago. But for the sake of conversation, well, I'll say not thousands. Thousand, I'll say probably. Somewhere around there. Anyway, this snowflake began falling. But it's now what we are presently when we jump back into the third dimensional body and the third dimensional experience, we can literally see mountains of snow. But the first flake dropped approximately about 1,000 years ago. I could explain what I mean by that, but I don't want to get too off the subject. But I'm just making an example to understand a certain kind of analogy of understanding. So this is not like, oh, all of a sudden this is happening, things are happening, you hear what's going on over there, you hear what's going on over here, you hear this, you hear that. This is not all of a sudden happening. The first snowflake, what you're talking about is an avalanche. You're talking about a mountain of snow. But the first snowflake began about 1,000 years ago. In our time, in our era, it began about 50 years ago, or 60 years ago. So enjoy it. Enjoy the weather. You know, enjoy the season. Every season has a reason. This is our time and era. We decided to make a contract with. But in this contract, never lose contact with your cosmic purpose. I'm gonna leave that for now as it is. Like I said, you guys can continue to as well. Leave a tip on the Cash App. It's appreciated. You guys are pretty generous, which is very much appreciated. Cash App, of course, is $ Amias as one, AMIASAS 1. $ Amias as one. Also check out the website asyouare.com, ASYUAR.com, and hit me on the email as well for consultations and classes and courses that are coming up in the summertime for the summer classes, summer courses, the consultations, things of that nature. Also understand the website right now for the time of Aries, the beginnings. You buy a product, you get one free. Consultations are also cheaper right now, as well as classes are some percentages were slashed off for the beginning of the solar cycle. These are very important times, once again, that we carnated back within. And we have to begin taking this with a sense of importance and relevance to some degree for those who are on this stream of consciousness and can vibrate with the frequency that I'm sharing. This is for you, whether you know it or not. Am I as I am, as you are. I'll see you guys on the next live. Like I said, I'm gonna do more and more lives. And appreciate engaging with y'all. Hit me up for them consultations. More and more consultations are happening. I see y'all reaching out, which is what's up, because when this dimension collapses, where are you going to be? You know, you can be in the third dimension, you can be in a dimension, or you can be in a realm. The choice is yours. But don't say you wasn't informed prior to, as you are.